Good morning there. You're watching QTV this morning, and I'm Jenna Bosonko. And I was not here yesterday, so it's like Monday to me. So it's a Tuesday. So I just hope that all of you had an amazing Monday to start off a very successful week. Ibrahim, it's so good to be here.
Yes, I mean, it's a day for us. I mean, it's Tuesday. For you, it's Monday for you. But for us, it's Tuesday already because we were here yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be back on this program. One thing I love the program. I got to learn a lot of things. You know, reviewing the newspapers, learning from Mr. Ade, Mr. Mboj.
Not agreeing with him sometimes.
Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, most of the time, you guys don't agree.
I try testing my powers to see whether it will work. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, don't talk that.
Yes, but Jenna, were you looking...
Really?
She's
okay.
looking fly.
Are you sure? But I don't have makeup on, so how am I looking?
Oh, you didn't even?
No.
Oh, really?
It's just my skin.
Oh,
bare skin.
I love the baby hair.
This is not baby hair. No, this is not baby hair. Let me explain.
That's not baby hair?
No,
what's that?
Actually, I feel like baby hairs are like all over the place. So this is just a simple install without no baby's hair.
Yes, yeah.
I love that.
It's just simple.
So
is it like you love my hair maybe?
He's going to be getting one now.
Because I don't have makeup on, so maybe you love my hair.
I love the hair. And I love the owner of the hair.
Okay, perfect. I love the hair too. I've never tried a body wave, so this is the first time, and I think it looks absolutely
That's beautiful.
That's Mr. Ade might not say it, but maybe he'll say it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, Mr. Ade, good morning.
Good morning, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm one of those people who are trying to encourage African women to rock natural hair. So I don't compliment people.
You don't compliment wigs and baby hairs and everything.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I rock my natural hair sometimes.
No,
I kind of
all the time.
Yeah, I mix some blended.
You know, it's good to rock your natural hair.
Yeah.
But also make sure when the hair is natural, it is not bushy. I mean, there was a time someone entered a van, and unfortunately, the wig, at some point, it was so bushy. I cannot understand. So once you want to rock natural hair, rock it naturally and beautifully. There is nothing wrong combing your hair and applying...
Okay, I understand. What you mean is sometimes women, when they have wigs on,
they don't mind
there's
about
something
the
crazy happening underneath.
You
know, something like that. Yeah, that's the point. I've seen those kinds of videos before as well.
Yeah.
But
it's better for you to take care of your hair.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway, it's good to be
here.
here.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Our African proverb.
Yeah.
All right, it reads, the old elephant knows where to get water. South Africa. Yeah. It's from South Africa. The old elephant knows where to get water.
Where to get water. I guess this is just about experience. Really, that's what this is. And we've had several of a similar kind where they're talking about, you know, experience means that you have acquired a certain amount of knowledge. In times past, people used to confuse kind of old age with wisdom. But I've always said that, no, the only thing that you can guarantee that you've gathered as you grow older is a lot of information. Whether you use it wisely, that's another thing. It doesn't mean that because you're older, you're wiser. This is about experience, you know, in a nutshell. I like it.
Experience
nice
is the best teacher.
Simple.
Yeah.
Well, experience is.
I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, we dealt with a similar proverb.
A similar one.
That has to do with age and everything, which actually sparked a debate. So we don't want to go there this time. But like you said, you know, it's just about age and gaining the right experience.
Yeah, the only thing you acquire with age is age.
Age.
Not necessarily wisdom.
Wisdom and experience.
You gain a lot of knowledge, you gain experience, but as I said, how you deploy that, that's where kind of wisdom comes in. Do you make wise choices based on your experience, based on the knowledge that you have? That's a different thing, and it's about your personality and so on. So
so let's just head right onto the newspapers, because we have a lot of interesting headlines today, and one that has to do with a new era in football, as we have a new coach. And yesterday I listened to the press conference. I just had snippets of it. And I like the fact that he's ready to diversify the team. He talked about how he already spoke to 45 players and of different ages. To me, I think that is, I don't know football to that extent, but the fact that he's opening up his arms to like everybody, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, one of the things which I would like to see him take on, and he kind of mentioned it, is that there are lots of players who are of Gambian, have Gambian origins, or they have Gambian parents or grandparents. And he's already started looking at some of those in terms of wanting to contact them and saying, would you like to play for the Gambia? Other countries do it, you know, why shouldn't we? You know, you look at the England team going as far back as you can go. You know, somebody like John Barnes, one of their greatest players, he was actually born in Jamaica, but he ended up playing for England, not for Jamaica. So, you know, you can cast your net wide, and many of them, the surname is probably the giveaway as to where their parentage is. And then, because I always do it, every time I see a name like Job or Sane or Mane, I always think, oh, I wonder if this guy has Senegalese or Gambian or Sierra Leonean connections. And then I go on, you know, check on the website and see. So he's doing something similar. But expectations are high. Because they're in a World Cup group where they've already lost their opening 2 games. And then they're playing Seychelles and then Gabon. Seychelles, the game, because our stadium is still not ready, is having to be played in Morocco. And then Gabon is in Franceville, in Gabon. So it's tough.
True. These people, they shouldn't play.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because sometimes coaches, and we all, you know, Tom Samphier was accused of being too loyal.
I think
to some
Suleiman Mare.
So there were players who more than one. There were players who were no longer playing regularly for their club, and yet they were getting chosen for the national team. Now I say this with a smile because the England manager has just announced his squad for the Euros, which start on the 14th of June. And one of the players he's picked is Luke Shaw of Manchester United. Luke Shaw has not kicked a football since February, and yet he's potentially going to pick him for the team because he knows that if he's fit, he can rely on him. And Tom Samphier was the same. And trust me, those words might come back to bite Jonathan because there might be a player who's
fit
and
doesn't have a club at a point.
Doesn't have a club at a certain point. But once you've given yourself that you know, big statement, it's one you have to live by.
Well,
people will always
maybe he shouldn't have.
They'll always remind you.
I think at some point, I mean, before a player joins the team, you have to go through some trials and testings. They have to watch maybe a couple of matches that you play. I mean, I think it's a process, like you said. I mean, there are players who may be fit, but they don't have a club. That's also, there can be a possibility.
It can
but
happen.
you know, all that we want is for the best at the end of the time.
He says he knows that expectations are high. I don't think he realizes how
high the expectations are.
He's about to find out.
They're already looking for nicknames for him.
He's only got a couple of weeks, which is one of the things that's against him. But I mentioned when Balde and I were discussing this yesterday, I think, I said that what is good is that he's come at a time when there's a fantastic crop of talented Gambian players playing all over the world in very, very good leagues. So he shouldn't struggle in terms of getting players. And he should be quite strict. If you pick a player for a competitive match and they said, I don't want to play this time, don't pick them again. Do not pick. I don't care how good you are. You could Lionel Messi. I don't care. If it's a competitive, if it's a friendly, and your club said, oh, well, you know, we don't want him to go and play. But if it's a competitive match and you say, I'm not playing, trust me, I'll just put a red line through your name. I would never pick you again. Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Okay, I don't.
Why should I pick you? If when we need you, you said, oh, no, today I don't feel like playing. No. For your national team, you should be ready.
But there can be different reasons.
There can be different reasons,
you're not hearing me. If I
let's listen to
I'm saying if the player says, I don't want to play. I'm not saying if there's a reason. There could be a reason. What there should not be is an excuse. I don't feel like it this time. But next time, maybe. No. If you have a good reason, fine. But if it's just, I don't want to play this game because I don't feel like it.
My suggestion to the coach is, I mean, there are...
We'll all be giving him suggestions.
Yes, some of our players are old. I think they should sit on the bench and wait for the small boys to
Tell
play.
that to Cristiano
Yeah, so
Ronaldo.
Lamin
Exactly. I
Kaba
don't
Bajo,
think that's fair, though.
Lamin Kaba
And he
Bajo,
talked about this, about the age issue, you know, because, you know, there's a lot of problems with age and discrimination.
So the Gambia-
with age. So I think with what you said, he's not going to do that in a way.
No, because if a player...
Because you already mentioned
matter
that he's considering
exactly.
players of all ages.
Well, this is it. And if a player is 36, 37, but they're playing regularly for their club and they're playing well,
they are good to go.
why shouldn't you pick them?
They're good to go.
So Lamin Kaba
Don't
Bajo,
need to be
the president
ageist,
of GFF, sent a message to the coach by saying, you have absolute independence and autonomy in terms of selecting your squad and deciding your fixtures.
Your fixtures.
Yeah.
I don't know about deciding his fixtures. I mean, the fixtures are set by the governing bodies, CAF or FIFA. So he doesn't have
And it's
any say in that.
I feel like it's expected that Lamin Kaba Bajo will say this anyway.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
in terms of autonomy in picking, of course, you can't pick somebody and say you're the coach and then you're trying to tell them who they should pick.
To control.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I think there should be independence.
Yeah, and I think there will be.
Well,
I think that's
and you know, as much as our expectations are higher as Gambians, you know, sometimes it will not just be easy like that.
I think we should invite him onto the show.
Sure,
Yeah,
we
I
should.
think it's
and
important
have
for him to
Jonathan.
come.
and get him answer, you know, some of the
Some of the
suggestions. But like you
questions.
said, everybody's suggesting.
Because one of the questions which I would have liked to have had somebody ask him at the
Yeah.
press conference is that, what's it like as a coach when the team that you're coaching is having to play their home games away from home? Because we know that home support is crucial. And until the stadium is fixed, we cannot play our home games here. We're having to play in Morocco. How does he feel as a coach? But I don't think anybody asked that question. So it's a shame.
All right,
So
let's move on.
Yeah, we should.
Heavy downpour last night in Basse URA.
Yeah, we're expecting some soon because it's looking very grey
Yeah.
and overcast here. And I'm regretting wearing these because
And you
probably
see
by the evening
the
it will be
temperature
raining.
today in the morning,
Yes, yes.
you know, it's a bit hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. People were saying, why, it's morning and it's already warm. Because somebody came up the stairs
Sweating.
and I said, why are you sweating? Have you been running up? She said, no, it's just hot. You know, so yeah, it's hot. But yeah, I think the rains are coming. And you were saying yesterday that when you were a young man, by now the rains would have come.
Exactly.
You know? It's the end of
Climate
May.
change.
And still no rain. So, and I was saying that let it hold off for a while because we know that for those of us who live in urban areas, when it rains, it means you have to swim to work practically.
There's
you know.
there's a certain road at my end.
Yeah.
During rainy season, we all condemn the road.
Yeah.
We only
Well,
use
no,
it after rainy season.
well, for
and
mine-
3 months after rainy season, that's the time we
For
start
mine,
using that road.
I've posted pictures many times, literally outside my gate. This is like a river or a lake.
Especially this
And-
road
and,
walk.
and you have to kind of think, okay, am I going to risk my car by driving through this?
No.
And sometimes, a couple of times, I had to work from home because, you know, so I don't welcome the rains because of the kind of poor drainage and so on. And in the last couple of years, it's been heavy. We've seen Banjul flooded, you know, and we talk about climate change. We talk about a capital city that's at risk because of below sea level.
Yeah.
So, you know, we get concerned when the rains come, and for good reason.
So from that, we'll just go for a short break, Mr. Ade, and we'll be right back. When we come back, I think we should shift our attention to cabinet meeting this week over the draft constitution. We'll be right back.
Kiusel moy suñu boss. Kiusel moy suñu boss. Kiusel moy suñu boss. Soro. Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili. QCell. Ni lafta diamula wati jamala mune diata. QCell. Most reliable network jumala keta wati. QCell. Wo quality man nyon soda jam ona manke QCell. Ani be wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria. QCell. Sunyu boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia QCell meta lori la kiliano yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunny boss QCell sunny boss QCell sunny boss QCell sunny boss. Connection of Bambandi QCell sunny boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunny boss.
You asked for it, and QCell is giving it to you with our new and improved Sunyu Bundle Mega Promo. Now you can get more data at cheaper prices. Buy any of our bundle packages and enjoy massive discounts. Dial *303# and enjoy browsing on the network with the biggest coverage. Buy a 20 megabytes data bundle for as low as $7 and 50 bottles today, or purchase bigger bundles up to 20 gigabytes. Yes, that's right, 20 gigabytes of data at your fingertips. With our mega promo bundles, you can browse more, chat longer, and stay connected on the go, anytime, anywhere. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms.
And then you're watching QTV this morning. And now, Mr. Ade, like I said, it's important that we, shift our attention to the draft constitution. There's been a lot of talk online, individuals asking a lot of questions about the draft constitution. And recently, when I attended the National Human Rights Commission's 5 years anniversary, issues of persons with disability, and all the issues that are already captured
in the
draft constitution, that will give, these issues extra power for them to be implemented, were mentioned. So I was like, why not just bring back the draft constitution?
Yeah, I've said this many times, particularly what you've just outlined regarding people, persons with disabilities.
Yeah.
Had the draft constitution gone ahead, what was in there would have been some of the most dramatic changes in any African constitution for people with disabilities. But it fell, and it fell for all sorts of reasons, not for that reason.
Yeah.
But having said that, having lived here long enough, even if it had gone through and had become law, we're very good at passing laws. We're not so good at implementing them.
Yes.
So perhaps it would have just looked good on paper, and nations around the world would have given us a tick mark and say, oh, Gambia, they're doing really well with persons with disabilities, but what are they doing? For example, we should be in a stage now where we compel any building that's a new building that you have to have disability access.
Yeah.
So you have a ramp where somebody with a wheelchair can access it. Otherwise, you will not get planning permission if it's a public building.
Yeah, for physical planning.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So they're meeting to discuss, and we have to ask ourselves the question: has anything changed in the sense of what's different now? I think what is different is there are quite a number of new National Assembly members who were not there the last time.
Yeah.
Having said that, the ones who are new, do they have a different mindset?
Question.
When it comes to the things that led for the last one to fail. And, there's this thing about, you can't keep making the same mistake or repeating something and expecting a different result. Are they going to change anything in the draft to make it go through? And what needs to be changed for it to go through?
And what is the stance of the political parties at this point? Because that also matters a lot.
Yeah, and what matters is that if you look at it, and we broadcast all the debate the last time, there wasn't one thing. The Constitution is broad and it's quite varied. There were different things that people objected to, and they couldn't come to a compromise on many of those things, to say, okay, well, let's tweak it a bit here. and then let it go through.
Yeah.
And so that's where we will find ourselves again. You know, are they going to, think? I mean, one of the things that's in there was term limits, presidential term limits, which is, you know, ECOWAS had said that they wanted every ECOWAS country to introduce that. We haven't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, apart from the fact that some of our countries are currently led by military juntas anyway, but quite a few of them already have term limits, Sierra Leone, Senegal, others. So it'll be interesting to see whether that does go through, but it'll be a shame if it fails again.
Also, National Assembly members were engaged on the actualization of diaspora voting and just general diaspora representation as well, you know.
Yeah, what they're trying to work out is what are the, a term that I hate, but what are the modalities? How do you make it happen?
Yeah, how?
If I live in Sweden, if I live in New York, London, whatever, what is my constituency? You know, how do you have diaspora constituency? How does the diaspora vote? Here, everybody votes with marbles. So what do you do there? Do they vote with marbles there as well? You know, because why should they have a different system to what obtains here? So there are all these questions that need to be working out. Because essentially the law says they should have the vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how do we make it happen?
Yeah.
And again, as I said, we pass these laws, but we don't think about how they should be implemented.
You
we
know,
need
the actualization.
We need to stop and think, okay, you know, and, you know, I'm one of those who's been the Access to Information Act. You know, I'm one of those who I welcome it, but like I'm saying, the infrastructure to deliver on it simply is not there.
Be realistic.
And we didn't seem to have thought of that. We just thought, oh, it's nice, let's pass it, and we passed it. But up till now, the structures are not there in every government agency and every ministry to actualize it. So, this is what it's the the conundrum that they're trying to address is, you know, how do we deliver on diaspora voting? Because the diaspora are screaming for the vote. You know, they contribute a lot, as we know.
And they make up social media, you know, they are online because they don't live in Gambia. They always want to know what's happening. So most of the debates that happen online is by the diaspora. And when voting comes, they can't vote. You know, it's always said the people on social media are not the ones that go to the ballot box, because majority of the times it's them.
Yeah, they make a lot of noise.
They make a lot of noise
on social media.
You know, and they don't end up going there to do the whole voting.
Well, I think the issue of diaspora voting, I mean, this should be looked into. Other countries are doing it. Senegal is doing it. Why not the Gambia?
But
So
that's what I've always thought. Why don't we just ask the Senegalese, okay,
how do you do it?
You know, they're next door. You know, we're not saying go to Mars and ask somebody. You know, you guys have been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Even Guinea-Conakry is doing it.
Yeah, quite.
So
quite.
why
not under Mamadi Doumbouya now.
Why not Gambia? Well, I think there were reasons why previously the diaspora we were not very keen in accepting the diaspora to vote. I mean, during the era of former President Yahya Jammeh, you know, most of his, the people that are against him are in the diaspora. So it will be a no-no for him to allow those people, in fact, for you to pass that so that we can accept diaspora to vote.
It depends on how much of sway they have and how much, you know, power you give them. But yes, I think he would have been against it because a lot of the people who were against him didn't dare live in the Gambia. So they lived outside and they criticized from outside. But also I think we have to be careful because a lot of people who live in the diaspora are not just Gambian. And this is an argument I've had with Sierra Leoneans, with people. They have a slightly distorted idea about the country, even though it's the country they're from and the country they love. They don't live there.
Will they even vote?
They don't go through. No, they will vote. They will vote because a lot of them feel that, you know, it's
that
still
sense
their
of
country.
Belonging.
It's their country because they send money and so on. And I've always said that almost force people to want to vote, okay, and say to them, we have a national development fund for the Gambia to develop the Gambia, to build schools, to build hospitals, so we don't go out to donors and so on. Okay, we know you're already sending money. if you're sending $100, send $95 to your family and put $5 in this fund. That's the National Development Fund that's administered independently. And that fund, when I say independently, they look around the country and say which area needs the most. And that fund goes, you know, so your $5 actually goes in and, you know.
That way.
Imagine this is a country where in 2021 people sent $500 million in a year. So, you know, just take $5 out of your every 100 that you're sending and put it into this National Development Fund. Like I said, people will say, oh, if it's going to the government, they'll just misuse it. Well, okay, have it audited and administered independently.
So, Mr. Ade, before you leave, we have the police PRO on the line. The police PRO, as they are investigating an alleged murder at the Friendship Hostel in Bakau. PRO, good morning.
Good morning, Geneva. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So the police is currently investigating the alleged murder of Babu Kanbai, reported by a receptionist at the Friendship Hostel on Sunday. Can you just give us an update in relation to your investigations at this point?
Thank you very much. Like you mentioned, this actually happened at the Friendship Hotel in Bakau at the stadium, where a receptionist actually went to report an incident, a reported case of someone who was their guest, but unfortunately could not respond to calls or attention, and they needed help. Unfortunately, the police actually was able to come with a medical person to be able to ascertain whether the person actually is alive or dead. And this was confirmed, and it was taken to Banjul. But before which the police started their investigation, getting to establish whether the man was alone there or was with a guest or with an individual who must have been there earlier before, and this was confirmed. And through that, the police were able to locate this person who happened to be one Agnes Mendy, who was there. But fortunately, Agnes was one person who actually alerted the receptionist or the security around there that actually he was with someone who is actually in the house and has left, but in case of anything, you know. So in essence, how it looks like is at the moment is because she has been with somebody who died. Okay. So, and we are investigating. We cannot just conclude. But the fact that is the first suspect is the person that he has been with before he died must be our first suspect. So for this reason, she has been arrested. He's one under police custody and cooperating with the investigation. But as time goes on, we are within. As of now, we don't want to be conclusive since investigation is ongoing, and the body is taken to mortuary, and hopefully there will be post-mortem to determine medically what might have caused the death, whether there is a foul play or not. But at the moment, the suspect is very cooperative with the police, and we are hopeful before the end of this days we'll be able to come out with something concrete, hopefully.
So physically, you can't judge. There was no stabbing or
no signs of
external bleeding or, you know, killing externally.
Yeah. It just looks like somebody who is sleeping, like you're sleeping and it's morning, you could not wake up. That's how it looks like from what the investigator has described. There seems not to be anything identified at the moment because it was very early to determine, because also you need to have the forensic go through the skin and all that. I mean, post-mortem too would be able to identify if there has been any struggle, or strangulation and of such. Physically, at the moment or at the time of taking the body from the hostel, that could not be established. But like I said, medically it will be screened. But from all indications, as far as the investigation is going, especially with the first suspect, there seems not to be such indication at the moment. There is no bleeding, and there seems not to be any physical struggle for now, as far as preliminary investigations are ongoing. Hopefully, with from forensic and from medical, then we would be able to go further. So, like I said, it's too early to come up with conclusive statement to say this is what happened. What we can say for now is this actually had happened, and a person in connection with this who was the last person to be with him when he was alive, has been arrested as our first suspect, and we are doing everything possible at the moment to be able to consolidate that and get other evidence to support for or against the suspect.
Yeah, so if you take a look at headlines in newspapers, it clearly says another, murder case at Friendship Hostel. So is there, what is this? I mean, it's not directly your job as the police to say if this hotel is fit for purpose or not, but are you worried that this is the second murder case happening?
It's not a murder
at
case,
this point, and how that place looks. Mr. Ade, you can just come in if later after this question. So what's your take on that? Because even online, you can see the emotions coming out. Not coming from me, but obviously what is being said online at this point, and I know it's a concern to you as well. Is that the whole Friendship Hostel thing, the fact that there's already a court case ongoing of a murder case that happens in the same environment.
Yes, at the moment, like you said, we are aware this is the second time this is happening. Suspected murder at that place. But what I would also say, Friendship Hotel or Hostel, it's like any other hotel. If for any reason it is confirmed that this is a murder, then we should be worried.
Okay.
You understand? It's an alleged one.
Yeah, it is.
Because what I'm saying, these two people are in their private businesses, and that could be even in a compound, in a house, or any other hotel. It's unfortunate that for the ones that we have received so far is at Friendship Hotel. But that alone does not make it a bad hotel in terms of security, because what matters is what people do in there. People are working there, they are not dying. People are coming there, footballers are coming and staying there. Our students would have their athletics there and all that. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is it's not actually what is done there, is who.
Yes.
Who
comes in?
Is it because of the location and people could, because it's
That's
isolated,
my point.
could do whatever there. But let's establish first whether this is actually a murder. If that trajectory is something that continues and it's really established that this was premeditated, it was planned, then we would now come to a conclusion. Probably most planned murder would be actually in this place.
Yeah,
and then that could be a concern. Yeah.
Okay, Piero, Balde here. Don't you think Friendship Hotel, they should try and enhance some of the security?
Whether they should have some of the securities?
No, what I mean is to enhance the coming in and going out as well.
Yes. What we need to understand equally is a private environment.
True.
It's a private, and what we mean by private here is, yes, we could say everybody has the right to go there. These are hotels and all that. They have their security systems and all that. And just like the other day when we had the incident at Westfield, the Forest Bureau, people also came up with every suggestion. Maybe the Forest Bureau should now get to have security so that X and Y and Z may not happen. But what I'm trying to get at is that the reasoning? Because how many people would actually go to Friendship Hotel? If you want to calculate in the year how many guests they have received, and these are the two incidents we may recall. So it's not. I don't think it's about that. It's about the people who are committing this. If they do commit them, what is their intention? What are they doing? I think that is important. But naturally, in the Gambia, we understand that yes, there are securities in most of these hotels, but most of them are local securities.
All right.
Yes. So I think, your question is important. It could be enhanced. However, it also remains to be the people who actually are coming there and what their intentions are.
All right. Thank you so much, Piero, for joining us this morning.
You are most welcome.
All right, and we'll, keep engaging you as developments also come by. So, Mr. Ade, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We have two other segments. One very important one is the Financial Reporting Oversight Board that will be joining us to discuss their mandate with us. We'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve into that. Don't go anywhere.
Conditions apply. Q Money is back again with an offer of a lifetime. You can now buy Sunyu Bundle data packages directly from your Q Money wallet for half the price. Get all Sunyu Bundle packages from 20 megabytes to 20 gigabytes and enjoy the biggest internet data discount in the market. Just dial *323# now, choose option 4 and start buying your favorite Sunyu Bundle package half the price only with Q Money. Pay less and stay connected with the most reliable internet service in the Gambia. For more information, call 133 Q Money Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Never before in the Gambia, QCell is giving you an unbeatable offer. Activate our 5G network on your 5G enabled phone and enjoy free internet for 7 days. Yes, you heard that right. Activate QCell's 5G on your phone and experience what true 5G internet feels like. Get your QCell SIM cards activated today at the following care centers: Banjul, Senegambia, Brikama, Bulsubi Turntable, Bakau Airport, and Kairaba Avenue headquarters. Rush now and be part of the future with QCell's 5G. Free internet for 7 days only with QCell. For more information, call QCell Customer Care on 111. QCell Sunubus. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply. Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience. Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or play?
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Thank you so much to Mr. Ade for joining us on the newspaper review. Ibrahim, moving on, we have representatives from the Financial Reporting and Oversight Board, and they're here to discuss the mandate of the organization, which I think is very important because it's not an organization that you see everybody talking about. You know, you see that, you know, they're board somewhere and you're wondering what is the work that they do.
What are they doing?
You know, so it is important that and they're here to engage the public as to their mandate, you know, being that government regulatory agency overseeing financial reporting, and the list goes on. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on your program, and we would first of all like to thank you for granting us this opportunity to raise awareness and sensitize stakeholders of our existence and enlighten them of what exactly that we do. But first things first, I am Modu Al Kamara. I am the technical manager of the Financial Reporting Oversight Board, and with me is my able right hand, sitting on my left this time, Mr. Fargay. He's the technical officer to me. So I also want to thank the Central Bank of the Gambia on behalf of management and the Board of Financial Reporting Oversight Board, and our line ministry, which is Ministry of Finance, MOFIA, and implore their continued support. So we are a government regulated agency overseeing financial reporting and corporate governance practices of public interest entities. We also have oversight responsibility over JICA, which is the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, and we oversee the auditing profession. And final provision, which is Section 49E of the Act, is basically more or less like a blanket provision which says we also monitor compliance of the financial reporting provisions of the Financial Reporting Act. So our body is established by the Financial Reporting Act 2013, and since this is the first time perhaps some of your viewers would have heard about us, I would encourage them to visit our website, which is www.frop.gm to learn
www.gm.
Exactly. Thank you very much for clarifying that. And basically, they can learn about us, our mission, vision, our value statements, the composition of our board, the management team. And we always keep that website regularly updated. I have that task.
I saw that, you know, last night I went to the website because I'm like, okay, let me read about them. And usually when you, in Gambia here, when you go to websites of government institutions, they're always, you know, 2004 or something. I'm just exaggerating things. So yesterday when I went into your website and I saw that things were so updated, study tours that you've conducted and everything, you know, so I think I'm also encouraging Gambians to rush there because it's very detailed as to the work that you're doing. I think it's a good thing. Thumbs up.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for that compliment.
Yeah.
We definitely want different for us. We want to make sure everything that we're doing is regularly updated on our website. So in terms of who are public interest entities, because it's a very important question.
Yes, you know, public interest entities, and you also talk about public, you talked about corporate bodies as well of public interest. So I think you can break, the two of you can break these down for us so that we understand who this specifically,
so
who
we can have
are.
the gentleman at this point.
Yeah. Public interest entity is defined in the Financial Reporting Act, that is the Section 2 of the Financial Reporting Act, as entity that is listed with the stock market, that is the new launch stock market. Any entity that is listed with the stock market is automatically a public interest entity. And secondly, a bank, a similar institution that is a deposit-taking institution that is under the supervision of the central bank, is also deemed as public interest entity from the Financial Reporting Act. And also insurance company, and then the pension firm or a provident fund or similar institution that is under the supervision of the central bank is also deemed as public interest entity. And also this thing, state-owned enterprise are also defined as public interest entity in the Act. And the last one is where the Act gives the board the board to define a threshold, meaning any corporate institution that has met certain threshold, and the board has defined the threshold now, that is revenue of any institution that has revenue of 100,000, staff, number of staff of 60, liability of 40,000, and then the total asset of 100,000. So those entities are classified as public interest entity. So therefore they are under the supervision of Financial Reporting Oversight Board. They are corporate governance and they are financial reporting. And the auditors that audit those entities are also under the supervision of FROP, that is the Financial Reporting Oversight Board.
Yeah, I also see how you ensure some sort of auditor independence, you know, in companies, you know, to ensure that clients do not kind of bully or go, like kind of, you know, luring them into tampering with auditing practices and all of that. So how do you ensure this?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I normally put that under header of the need for fraud. Sorry, I'm just struggling with my laptop.
Yeah.
So that would come under, so that's part of our objective,
Right.
is also to highlight the need for fraud. And I like to break this down into several layers, so to speak, as a bucket of its own. And first things first is, as an oversight structure on a global outlook, it looks good that to have an oversight body responsible for monitoring financial reporting and corporate governance practices in a country looks good from an outsider perspective, that we do have a body responsible for that. And something else, it's also related to that, is also of interest to developing partners.
Right.
So developing partners are interested in that transparency, in that oversight function. And it's also the issue around, tied into that is the issue around globalization and convergence to international financial reporting standards. And what this means is, for example, in terms of financial reporting, IFRS, the adoption of IFRS, which is the International Financial Reporting Standards, in the case of, for many private businesses, tend to adopt that. And for public sector, mainly government institutions, they would adopt what we call IPSAS, which is the International Standard for Public Sector Accounting Standards. So with those reporting standards being adopted, it just means there's enhanced credibility. So it means also for businesses operating in the Gambia who prepare the financial statements on the basis of IFRS would enjoy and should also enjoy the same credibility as of those other entities outside the country preparing their financial reports based on IFRS. So we want to have that competitive footing, not just internally, but externally. Because if you look at businesses, they can source funds, not just necessarily within the country, but they can source funds outside the country, sub-regionally or internationally. So what that means is it facilitates sourcing of funds, it facilitates trade across border. Right, so in time, that's just for globalization and convergence. Now, coming down, you mentioned ensuring independence.
Yes,
I want to address that since you brought it up.
I'm very concerned.
Yeah, so we, the body which is responsible for overseeing the financial report, auditing profession. So we want to create pathways for auditors to also lay complaints to us. So we don't want a situation where a big public interest entity can bully their auditors, so to speak. So they have that pathway as a regulator that they could raise concerns when matters affecting their independence or integrity is in question. They can bring it up to us, and then we will take up the matter from our end as an independent regulator, which is very important.
So when you talk about independent regulator, you know, do you bite in any instances? You know, that's also important to know.
Well, just to add on that, I've also seen disagreements between auditors and, you know, auditees as well.
That is correct.
But generally, when it comes to regulations, you know, beyond auditing, but irregularities that you might spot at any point in time, if you say you're a regulator, you should be able to bite, just so that there's some sort of compliance. You know, what are the penalties?
Exactly, that's a very, very important point. I think it's a recurring theme, being able to bite, because that's how you can at times try to get people into compliance. There are different layers of enforcement, because it has to do with monitoring and evaluation or enforcement action. So first things first, I want to just let this out there. I think we had a radio show program earlier, and then we've highlighted as an update that there would be rules that would be issued come to mid-year, towards the third quarter of this year. And the rules is looking at addressing some of the issues that you're referring to, being able to sanction. And moving away from that a bit is also publishing. It's called naming and shaming. I believe no business would want to be on the newspapers or for the wrong reasons, or on our website for the wrong reasons. So this is also another form of enforcement.
So there's no enforcement at this point?
There is, but in a limited
Okay.
capacity. Now, it's
Based
very
on law or?
no, it would be on law because the Act specifies that we can come up with regulations.
Okay.
I think from memory, Section 79 of the Act,
Yeah.
that we could come up with regulations or rules. So it is in that rules and regulations that this enforcement action would be in.
Okay.
And there are also other punitive charges explicitly stated in the Act. For example, serving 1 year jail time, or if infringements or violations can also be reported to JICA, disciplinary committee. JICA, which is the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, they have a disciplinary committee. So if you're an accountant or professional accountant and you are found to be in violations of professional codes, FROB can take action against you and refer the matter. This is explicitly stated in the Act. You can be referred for disciplinary action to JICA. But in all this that we are saying, I want to put a bit of context and background.
Yeah.
Because it's very important to know that whilst we have this mandate, which is Section 49 of the Act, and we are established by the Act since 2013. However, it's very important to note that management is only recently hired in mid-2022. That would explain partly why maybe you haven't heard about
of any
fraud.
Yeah.
Because it's only has the Secretariat for the first hiring of management in mid-2022. Right? So that gives a bit of a background. But notwithstanding, we want to hit the ground running, right? And hence, we've been pushing for enlightenment. We've been pushing for sensitization. That also being said, we have an upcoming stakeholder engagement. We're looking at this June, perhaps immediately after the Eid. But I'll just leave it there without getting too much into detail. We're looking at inviting about 200 plus stakeholders.
Great.
And I think QTV and QCell is one of the stakeholders that we will be also inviting so that we can have this engagement. So the manufacturing, hospitality industry, the health, all of these industries would be invited. Energy, which is the petroleum, all of these industries would be invited for a hands-on exchange with the Secretariat to know who we are. And they can also, we want to give them the opportunity to also ask questions. So this is it. This would, because I'm a big fan of when we're making rules, the rules needs to be reflective of our circumstance. So I'll just leave it there for now. And then maybe
you may like to comment at this point.
Yeah, because normally people do want to ask like the auditors, who audit the auditors? For instance, now you text somebody to see whether what you prepare is in accordance with the standard. But who also go and check whether what he is preparing is also in accordance with the standard. And then looking at the financial reporting, I think it's very, very important. Looking at the GIA, that is the Gambia Revenue Authority, based their tax. The tax is based on audited account and non-audited account. And the stakeholders, different use of the financial statement, rely on the financial statement. So if individuals are preparing the financial statement anyhow, and you don't have anybody to oversee the financial reporting process, and people to oversee the activity of the auditors, then I think it will be difficult to convince somebody to rely on the financial statement. In order to enhance the reliability of the financial statement, then that's the need for FROB. That's the reason why FROB exists.
So before we leave, I just want to bring up, because currently there's a commission of inquiry going on into the financial dealings of local councils. So is there any way, because obviously if you watch, you'll see that, you know, they were in compliant when it comes to financial rules and regulations. You know, do you have any hand in this, you know?
I think we've published a list of public interest entities. I'll answer your question, but first, we've published a list of public interest entities because the Act specifically mentioned public interest entities. And I think it was December last year, that list did not include any government agency, whether it be ministry, department, or agency, including local council. So come early this year, I think, was it 1st of March, we published the thresholds. Now, in the thresholds, there's a provision. So, for example, revenue 100 million, assets
number of
100
employees,
million, number of employees
liability.
exceeding 60, and total liability of 30. If you meet any two of those, then you would be deemed as a public interest entity.
Yeah.
But I want to add a bit of a caveat because
Okay.
we have a board, and the board basically, in terms of helping in interpreting the Act, might, because we did say government agencies would be included in this threshold in the publication. Now, I just want to be a bit careful because we have a board technical committee, which I'm a secretary to the board technical committee. So some of these things would also be discussed internally. So I don't want to preempt what their verdict or
is going to be
remark would be in that regard. So I would preempt. I would just want to leave that for now. But as it stands, as far as the thresholds are concerned, it says
government
if you
institutions should.
Yes, if you made any
they should.
of this.
And I think they need that more than any other entity, because obviously private institutions, them complying to some of these rules and regulation is good for them because they want to perform well.
Sure.
You know, but on the other hand, you know, with government, with what we see currently with the Commission of Inquiry into the financial dealings of local councils, it's not looking good, you know, because it's public property and everybody's doing what they're doing. So I think government even needs, you know, to be looked into more than the private sector, I believe.
Certainly. I think perhaps that's where also the Commission of Inquiry comes in, because there is that recognition that, look, there's an issue here that needs to be addressed. For us, we would take this conversation further internally before I make any public
I understand
remark.
that. I understand that. So yeah, I think that is all we have time for.
Yes.
But like you said, we're open to conversations. You know, it's good that you're here and you spoke to the public. I always see your board along Kotu.
Kotu, yeah,
you
that's
know, that's where you are.
That's
and
correct.
you know, I had to check one day. I'm like, what's this board like? I don't know about this. You know, so I had to check to actually know the work that you're doing. So I think you should do more familiarization tours just to ensure that, and maybe use influencers like Balde and myself, you know, to put your work out there.
Well, it's very significant.
Well, I'm in your sponsor this morning.
Well, definitely.
Well, again, you be part of the sponsors of this morning. We can have your arts on so that people will know further the work that you do and that they will be aware. You know, one of the most watched programs. In as much as we give you the platform, we market you too. So it's just part of strategy.
I agree. I agree with you completely. And I think I'll take the suggestion on board. We are pushing, but of course, there's always room.
There's always room for improvement.
To do more.
But thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. I just want to take 30 or 15 seconds and explain this important body called the Standards Committee, because there's always this expectation gap. So FROB is mainly responsible for monitoring and evaluation, or including enforcement action, but this body is independent and it sets the standards. So in terms of financial reporting standards, they're responsible for issuing the standards that should be complied with by the public interest entities. So this would include the financial reporting standard, the auditing standards, and quality management standards, among other things. So it's very important for these standards to be issued, otherwise it would impede the work that we do as FROB. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. So Ibrahim, we'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about something that I love to talk about a lot, you know, that has to do with, you know, women and all of that. So I'm super excited about the next segment. So we'll just go for a short break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Now, with QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell moy suñu boss. QCell moy suñu boss. QCell moy suñu boss. Grr, suru. Go, ebeda wada full network suda tili. QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata. QCell. Most reliable network dumala geta wati. QCell. Wo quality man nyon soda jam ona manke QCell. Hanibe wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria. QCell. Sunny boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G, new delu taxi 4G plus, and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella multi milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell made a lori la kilianol yele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell Sunny boss. QCell Sunny boss. QCell Sunny boss. QCell Sunny boss. Connect solo be bambandi QCell Sunny boss. QCell most innovative QCell Sunny boss.
You asked for it, and QCell is giving it to you with our new and improved Sunyu Bundle Mega Promo. Now you can get more data at cheaper prices. Buy any of our bundle packages and enjoy massive discounts. Dial *303# and enjoy browsing on the network with the biggest coverage. Buy a 20 megabytes data bundle for as low as $7 and 50 bottles today, or purchase bigger bundles up to 20 gigabytes. Yes, that's right, 20 gigabytes of data at your fingertips. With our mega promo bundles, you can browse more, chat longer, and stay connected on the go, anytime, anywhere. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply. Q Money is back again with an offer of a lifetime. You can now buy Sunyu Bundle data packages directly from your Q Money wallet for half the price. Get all Sunyu Bundle packages from 20 megabytes to 20 gigabytes and enjoy the biggest internet data discount in the market. Just dial *323# now, choose option 4 and start buying your favorite Sunyu Bundle package half the price only with Q Money. Pay less and stay connected with the most reliable internet service in the Gambia. For more information, call 133 Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyu Bus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And now, Ibrahima, we are heading on to a very interesting topic that I'm super interested in. Like, why you're in lower Guinea, sayo?
No, that's our
conversation.
No, that's our gender
balance. So we have you. So let's keep you. We'll keep you. So we are joined by Mrs. Anna Foster, who's the Executive Director of the African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies, and Fatuma Tondoi, Program Manager of the Partners West Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Mrs. Anna Foster, obviously, if anybody hears the name, knows exactly, the amazing work that she's doing in this particular area. But Ibrahima, considering that this is the first time that we have the center here, it is important that we just delve into generally the work of the center before we get into that very exciting upcoming event that you have, Auntie Anna.
Thank you very much for having us. The center is Pan-African human rights organization, and it was established in 1989. And perhaps with a sense of pride, I want to say that we'll be celebrating 35 years of existence. We work on the whole of Africa, and our main thrust is on governance, it's on gender equality, conflict management, and the right to development. So for us, we've been able to do a lot of advocacy. We've also done a lot of education and training. We've trained alumni from over 45 African countries, and basically we ensure that they know more about the procedures, how to engage with the regional human rights system as well as the international human rights system. We've done a lot of research as well on the status in various African countries. But our flagship program is that of the Networking for Human Rights in Africa, because all our activities are geared at making sure that we have one human rights community that know what they are doing, know how to engage with the different institutions, and are also able to make their mark. So for us, it's very important that we are hosting under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of Gender, Honorable Fatou Kinte. We are hosting Partners West Africa and people coming from all over West Africa to talk about gender equality and also how to ensure that there is peace and security. It's also an advocacy visit, yes, to ensure that people know more about the framework, know more about what is happening in various African countries on the issue of gender equality, women, peace and security.
Well, since establishment of the center in 1989, it's a very long time. It will be important for you to share some of the successes, if possible. You won't be able to tell me all, but at least some.
Perhaps just to say that in the area of gender equality, we've been involved in the development of the African Women's Protocol. I'm sure you know about the Maputo Protocol, which is also one of the documents that we are using. This was one of the things that came out from the training. You know, in training we also, because we are training people who are adults, so in their working groups, they came up with issues as to what they would want to see, because we were working with the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. And they felt that it wasn't enough for the women. The women need something that addresses their own situation. At the time, we know that there was only CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. So we started, in their working groups, they came up with ideas. And fortunately, at the time, we were working with the African Commission under the chairmanship of Professor Dankwa. And we started compiling those contributions. And I think in a spell of about 2-3 years, we were able to share those outcomes with the Commission. And these were shared with the AU Commission in Addis Ababa. And as time went on, they set up a working group comprising the African Center, the International Commission of Jurists, and WILDAF, 3 CSOs that worked with the Commission to develop a draft that went to the AU Commission, and then it was open to other states, for review and the development of the protocol.
Yeah, so Mrs. Ndoye, you know, can you also take us through what you do at Partners West Africa, you know, the advocacy areas that you take a look at?
Okay, thank you. I'm Fahmata Ndoiba. I'm program manager from Partners West Africa, Senegal. So before answering your question, foog na Ibrahima dañ koy keep. Parce que
waa déedéet xam nga dafa am lu tax ma bëggoon koo daaxa. Because xam nga maa moom dañuy juboo fii. Man damaa demee nii wax lii moom mu demee nii indee ko feneen. Moo tax ma bëggoon koo jël rek saani ko.
waaye nag waayo no waaye
soo seetee li ñu boole.
waaw
di nga gis ne dina am nañ panel boo xam ne sax dañ ko wax he for she.
ay góor dafa waaw because he man sax Auntie Anna man kii man maa bëgg mu nekk he for she.
non waaye moom xam na ne man pour jigéen ñi la man dama dee taxawal jigéen ñi.
dëgg la
loolu nga wax tey fii lañ ko waxee.
jeex na ba waaye yoo xam nga loolu di.
am naa seet jeex na waaw wax bi jeex na waaw wax bi jeex na.
léegi foog naa ci loolu noonu. comme li ñuy wax question about women. It's not just between women. We should include he for she, men's, and so on. And in fact, we will have a solution in order to increase women participation.
True.
And in Partners West Africa, Senegal, first time I see your emission, it was during my first stay, I think last month. You talking about issues with the back, with the, comment ça s'appelle? Back B.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was before OIC activities.
Wow.
But it was very interesting, but because we're working too in road safety initiative in Senegal.
Amazing.
Yeah. Since 2017, and that's why it was very interesting for me to follow.
I'm glad.
Yeah. And in Partners West Africa, Senegal, we start working in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, General Lamine Cissé moo nekkoon suñu PCA. suñu board bi. fi mu nekk ni professeur Adjaratou Waha Aidara Ndiaye moo nekk suñu executive director. mënul woon ñëw parce que dafa amoon benn conflict agenda. moo tax mu yebal ñu staff bi ñu ñëw. mais ñu ngi work si comme Anna nu mu ko waxee léegi peace, security, women participation, ñu work tamit si democracy, good governance and so on. loolu yëpp ñu ngi ciy liggéey. mais si activité bii nii dañu focus on advocacy. At first years ñu ngi def benn study si women participation in ECOWAS countries ak Tchad ak Mauritanie. donc ci country yooyu yëpp dañ doon def di gëstu di xool naka la jigéen ñi naka la state yi jëlee jigéen ñi naka la leen kiiwee take into account rights jigéen ñi. comme for exemple ñaata ministre lañu am ci benn gouvernement. ñaata parlement. ñaata mayor lañu am. yooyu yëpp ñu ngi ko doon xool. mais dañu dem ba seetlu ni dafa amoon quelques yenn issues. parce que data yi pour ñu access yi problème la woon. ba pare boo xoolee am na yenn state yi nga xamante ni si. yooyu data sax amuñu ko. donc suñu monitors yi dañu amoon some difficulties to access to this data. first secondly pour ñu xam aussi exactly parce que CSO yi dañu ràññeeku ni ñoom si seen bopp war nañ leen tàggat ñu gën a am ability to def research yi. voilà loolu yëpp gis nañ ko ci suñu research.
waaw waaye because time bi bariwul noonu fu mu nekk nii dañoo dugg straight si activity bi war a am si organisation bi yéen a ngi war a am this training. already Auntie Anna you talked about 200 individuals who will be converging to be trained on the different instruments, the Maputo Protocol, CEDAW, and all other areas that are necessary. So I just wanted to ask quickly, is this prompted by the Parliament's attempt to repeal the FGM law, or this was on the pipeline ever since? But is it prompted by current dynamics in the country?
This particular activity, we've been talking about it since the beginning of the year. In fact, last year, and then it came into this year. And we felt that because the center had also carried out a research in Gambia, looking at the political party manifestos and constitutions to see how gender sensitive they are. And that also has fed into this particular project. This particular project we have brought in, we will have various round tables. Yes, and there will be one
he for she.
Deal with the he for she. But what is important is to look at how involved or what is the level of participation for women in West Africa. Like you said, if you look at the good governance, the protocol of ECOWAS, protocol on good governance and human rights, we find out that there is a gap between a whole lot of issues. The protocol is saying something, but then there's a disparity, yes, between law, policy, and practice. And this is something that we want to look at and also to identify the gaps and to see how together we can resolve these issues, how together we can contribute towards resolving and making sure that women have their rightful places. But then the issue, there will also be a round table by religious leaders, and we'll be looking at some
traditional
of these issues.
practices.
Yes, harmful traditional practices. Yes, today is FGM, but tomorrow we don't know what other harmful traditional practice will be put out there. So we believe that, like they said, local solutions to local problems. So as members of the West African community, I think this is an opportunity for us to come together and to look at these issues and to see how we can together resolve
it. I hope there will be the will for us to resolve these issues, because I mean there are many discussions that were centered previously. I mean, but still the problems persist. But I hope this will bring a solution this time.
We hope, and perhaps I just need to call attention to the fact that this evening there is going to be a roundtable organized by the Vice Chairperson of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, and we'll be looking at FGM, harmful traditional practice, and from different perspectives this evening at the Bakadaji Hotel. Yes, and I'm sure you have information on that as well.
Yes, so who are some of the dignitaries that should be expected to participate? Because, you know, that's sort of political will at the convergence.
Okay, for this, for Thursday's convergence, we have a roundtable for the ministers. We also have a roundtable for the he for she's. We also have a roundtable for the religious leaders.
And DFS.
And the defense force. We even have one that will be dealing with, we have people coming from, is it Chad? And from Gambia, from the office of the CDS. They'll be with us on Thursday and Friday at the Tamala Hotel. Yes, to share their outcomes and to see how together with the different stakeholders coming in and discussing, and to see how we can push the agenda of gender equality in these various sectors.
Because already we see there's an issue in the Gambia currently, you know, like with our parliament, you know, the president had to nominate about 2 women, you know, because most of them, you know, they're not voted in.
Since independence, the parliament has never gotten above 7%.
Wow.
Representation for women.
So
it's a problem that I don't
has
know.
Been there forever.
That's right.
Wow, it has been there forever.
Because people will say, okay, why don't you whatever? But we all know that there are various challenges that need to be addressed before we get there.
Wow, before jigéen ñi di taxaw moom foog ñu solve problem yi si
most of these people,
because xam nga Balde waxoon naa la ko the last time,
most of these people that are voted in office are voted by women. So I think it's important for us to give women the chance. But you know, one thing we are fond of,
not giving women the
chance.
One thing we are fond of as a country, we like talking, but when it comes to action, we don't.
But it's not only in Gambia.
Wow, it's a global problem.
Yes. Look at even America. They've never had a female president, have they? They haven't. So these problems are inherent in our different nations. How do we together?
Waaye Auntie Anna xam nga tamit comme li nga wax dafa am community challenges yi nga xam ne dañ ko war a solve njëkka wax nga fi ne da ngeen doon seet party manifestos yi party agendas yi party yi seen boppa dañ dee identify seen winnable constituencies yi parti buy taxaw xam nga ne man parti bi man si constituency bi laa mu ne si constituency bi soo demee si constituency yooyu duñ fa dee teg jigéen de te yëg nañ ko dañ dee dem ut constituency boo xam ne amuñ fa benn stronghold ñu jël fa teg fa jigéen jël ko ne am nañ party agenda teg nañ fa ay jigéen loolu moom dëgg bi rek
pare tamit sax soo seetee some of the outcomes from that particular
waaw
di nga gis ne jigéen ñu bari soo leen laajee lu tax yow sax doo taxaw liñ la dee wax
waaw
ñu ne hee man dañ laa saaga
dañ laa xas
su ko defee ñu ne kii parewut ak
kii sëyut
kii nii
dafa dog kawaram bi
def nii façon yi lifin it was very disheartening that somebody who wants to help build the nation is being looked at in a very derogatory manner.
Okay.
So I'm sure as we go along, we should be able to find solutions to this challenge.
So Senegal, fofu lan moy li bi condition bi fofu because gis nañ na tamit Bassirou Diomaye Faye bum jëlé lifinam bi government am bi constitute ko gis nañoon ay wax Senegalese activists yi génn nañ fu nekk wax ne moom tamit expectoon nañ ne government am bi dina fa def jigéen yu bari waaye gis nañ ne góor yi ñoo dominate currently Sénégal si boppam parliament bi foofu noonu mu nekk lu activists yi di ñaawlu tamit.
mais comme li anti problème bi du nekk just benn country mais
ñëpp la
boo xoolee mi ngi wax léegi Ibrahima mi ngi wax léegi fii ci Gambia fii ci Sénégal fële ci Tchad fële ci Mauritanie yëpp same problem boo xoolee women's participation amul doole noonu parce que dañu war a xool at first ñun ñi suñu bopp en tant que jigéen ñun ñoo war a xam ni am nañ ay ability am nañ ay am nañ aussi ay power yu ñu mën a allow ñuy def suñu liggéey correctly at the same time Sénégal tamit amoon na ay wax yu bëri yu jëmale ci côté boobu noonu mais foog naa ni ñu ngi koy jéem di correct donc ñu ngi jëm ci kaw li ñu doon wax léegi par rapport ak regional level bi parce que last year ñu ngi woon Niamey Niger def nañ fa benn national advocacy workshop foofu noonu tamit am nañ ay recommandation yi nga xam ne am nañ ko ba ñu paree loolu ñu jógee Niger ñu dem encore Accra foofu noonu ba ñu demee Accra am nañ tamit ay recommandation mais workshop boobu noonu dafa focus woon ci violence extremism ba ñu demee tamit November bi passé ñu ngi woon Tchad
waaw
ba minister of women bi ci boppam moom moo receive recommendation yi nga xamante ni si moom la ñu am ci session boobu noonu donc bu ñu boolee ñetti recommendation yi from Niamey from Accra and from N'Djamena ci regional activity bi dinañ ko jébal authorities yi ñu xool exactly lan lañ ci mën a def lan lañ mën a yokk lan lañ mën a correct ak fan lañu toll mais laata ñuy correct lead il faut que ñu xam ñu saytu exactly la yan lan la ñu jot a réaliser depuis ba ñu commencé ba tey donc loolu la ñu fas yéene def si activité bi tamit ñu am benn statement foog naa Anna wax na ko ñu am benn statement bi nga xamante ni si dinañ ko fas yéene jox authorities yi at national ak regional level
wow through honorable minister Fatou Kinte so because dëgg la ñun ñëpp am nañ wande ministre bi moom ñoom ñoo amee lifin bi pour war a xam lan la nit yi wax lan la stakeholders yi wax ak naka la ñoom ci seen boppa because ñoom ñoo jiite yoon bi ñoom ñooy xaala yoon bi te ñu nit à civil society dañ leen a jàppale si waaw su neexee yàlla
waaw dafa mel ni fu mu nekk nii moom time bi jeex na waaye ñu ngi leen di wish good luck waaye Balde dafa am session
dina ñëw de
xam nga lim fi wax nii tey yëpp du ko fi daan wax de lum fi daan wax nii la ko fi waxee
ñu ne suñooy compter xeet waaw suñooy compter xeet duñ si boole ndeya baay moom fi mu nekk nii ndey occasion bi la
kii du dee lii yéen la fi gis
non man dama
yéen la fi gis kii toog na fi wax yu rëy
danga ma nekk di sosal rek
sosaluma la li nga xamante la dañ ko am on record yow amul loo fi waxut waaye comme que nga ne yow hiifo shi nga ndangu nga léegi hiifo shi nga baax na dinañ ko jël but good luck on the event we wish you a successful event and looking forward to it so that is all we have time for till we come your way tomorrow bye for now